Hey guys, this is Garrett here with the Career Creating Resume Box. You're probably here because you bought this resume on Etsy, but if you found your way here on YouTube or through Google, please feel free to follow the link below and get your copy of this template for $7.95. You're probably going to be able to figure out how to make it yourself just by watching the tutorial and seeing how the components work, but I'm telling you, $8 is well worth the time that you're going to save by using the pre-made template. It would probably take, I don't know, at least 2 to 3 hours to make this template and get it all right without using the template that I provide for the low price of $8. So before we start, I want to talk about two things. First of which is I'm using a new recording software that doesn't have the noise reduction capabilities of my last software, and I'm beside a road, so I'm recording later at night, so the traffic's died down, but there still is the occasional car. And I just want to go ahead and apologize in advance, and I hope that any noises aren't going to cause that much of a distraction. The second thing is if you follow my mouse here, you'll see that this is a diamond. And it may not, this may not be the shape that is in what you purchased on Etsy, or it might not be the same as the thumbnail from YouTube. My resumes come in 4 versions, so I make an identical resume and I change these things. There are 4 versions, and the only thing that's different is either the diamond. It's the shape, should I say. It'll either come with no design, a diamond, an hourglass looking thing, or some arrows. So it's 4 different design elements, but everything else in the resume works exactly the same. So I decided to use one tutorial for each type of resume. That way, it saves me several hours of time trying to make these things. So with that introduction, let's begin. I'm going to show you how this thing's put together and how to change the components to make any changes you want. And if at the end of the video you still need help, just shoot me an email or message on Etsy and I'll help you out within 24 hours. So we might not be to a final product within 24 hours, but we'll be on our way. And if at the end of this thing, if we can't get you to something you're happy with, I don't care to set up a Zoom or a Teams meeting with you and go through it real time. Just as long as in the end you have a resume you're happy with and you're ready to start your job search. So this resume is composed of 4 major components. Number 1 is the picture. Number 2 are text boxes. Number 3 is the text itself, including font colors and text spacing. The 4th thing are the resume icons. And the 5th thing are the outline rectangles. So these lines are actually made of rectangles with a colored outline, and they're just placed perfectly beside each other to create the illusion that they're continuous. So with that, let's get started. Let's talk about the picture first, okay? So this picture, you're probably going to want to change unless you just so happen to be this person. So this is a stock photo that I got from Unsplash.com, and I've been using it in my resumes because of how professional it looks. So let me show you how to change this to your actual photograph. Okay, before you start, the first thing you need to do is crop your photo to the way that you want it. So if it's a full body photo, go ahead and crop out it, and you only want your head and shoulders, go ahead and crop out just your head and shoulders, get that ready, because when we go to paste it in, everything that you don't crop out is going to be in part of the photo, and there's no way to take it back out later. So go ahead and do that before we import it. And another thing we're going to do before that is we're going to actually take a look at this picture. So we'll go to picture format and go over here to size. Size for this picture is 1.41 by 1.37 inches. I don't know why they're not the same number. So I made these several months ago, and I've been working on other components of it. And the way that I actually made this picture and made it round and fit and everything, I couldn't figure out. Whenever I did the first tutorial video for YouTube using pictures, I had to pause the recording and actually figure it out. It took me like 20 more minutes to figure it out. And I didn't figure it out the same way that I put them in here in the beginning. But let me go ahead and show you what to do. So first off, let's insert pictures from this device, and my picture that I want is right here. So when we put it in, it's connected to the Word document itself. So it's connected to the lines that you would normally type text into. So we're going to go to layout options over here on the right and put it above text to change that. As you see, everything behind it went back to normal. So next, let's go ahead and crop it. We're going to crop to aspect ratio and hit 1:1. We're going to crop again, crop it to shape, go down here to flow chart and select this circle. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change its size to 1.41, and that creates the size that we need it to be. So now we can put it in about the right spot. Delete this picture and then put this picture in its place somewhere that we're happy with. Man, I'm not entirely happy about that, but let's actually make it just a little bit bigger, just to hide the bottom of that rectangle. And it still didn't do it. Okay, so now it's in the wrong color. You can keep it this color if you'd like to. It's up to you. For my black and white, or for my black resumes, I like to use a black and white picture. So we're going to click this picture. We're going to go to picture format, color, and select black and white. Once you do that, you can go back to color, change the saturation and the tone, and customize it more if you'd like to. There are also other colors. You can choose sepia. You can keep it color. You can do whatever you want. Just go through the options and play with it and see what you like and do what feels right to you. The only other thing I'm going to talk about is the border. So we can put a border on it. Let's put a black border, or what I call black is actually this gray color here. And we're just going to go down to weight. Let's make it a little bit thicker. And we don't have to do that, but I just want to show you how to do it if you do choose, if you like it and if you want to have it added to your resume. That's it for the picture. That's all we got to do. Next thing is text boxes. So everything is in a text box. If you see here, all of these are in their own text box, and I do that for the purpose of it disconnects them from the lines of the Word document itself, and it gives us more versatility when we're moving it around and adjusting it. So I can move it halfway off the page if I want to. If this was connected to the resume, I would never be able to do that. But I have these things set to where I like them, but where I like them and where you like them might be different. So you can move it closer to the line if you'd like. You can move it further away from the line. You can bring it wider to change where the words go to the edge of the page. Whatever you want to do. It's your resume. So, there's only one text box that's different than all the rest, and that is the contact text box. It is a group of text box. So let me show you what happens. I can select the big box, move it all around by itself. I can select the small one, end up with just the letters, or I can select one of the resume icons and move it independently. So you can do it either way, move it all together, readjust it. You can space it all out a little bit more if that's what you want to do. So that is the only text box that's different, and they're pretty straightforward. So that's pretty much all there is, all we're going to talk about with them. Next, let's talk about the words themselves. So I'm going to select this paragraph, and this is where we're going to talk about most of the words. So if you look here, this is Corbel Light is my font, size is 11. You can change it to any font that you want from the drop-down list. You can change it to any size that you want from the drop-down list. Honestly, I'd stick with 12 or below because everything's going to fit on the page better. If you make it too big, people are going to notice that you made it too big to try to maybe fill in more space. It's going to look unprofessional. I'd stay 12 or below. Not only that, but if you go bigger, you're going to have a hard time fitting it on the page. You're going to have to make your text boxes bigger, rearrange the rectangles. It's going to end up being a lot of work. So I would, like I said, stick to 12 or below probably. Next, let's talk about the color. We can change it to any color we want. I believe I use this as my normal black color. I don't usually use full black, and you can actually select this and see what I've done. Let's go back. It's actually this. This is what I've selected for the black of the titles. And everything you can do that. You can select any text, just click the letter, click the color letter, and usually, so automatic, this is an actual black color, and it'll tell you what color it is. So the two more things are the spacing. So if we select this, if you need to fill in some white space, what you can do is you can come in here to the line spacing. And I really wouldn't go bigger than 1.5 at max. I'd probably stick to 1.15 because once again, it's going to look unprofessional and people are going to notice that you're trying to fill in space. So I would be really easy with your line spacing. And the text spacing itself. So what I mean by text spacing is how close the letters actually are to each other. Not the lines themselves, but the letters. So this is normally spaced, meaning the letters sit directly beside one another. There's no space in between them. But when you go to the titles like professional overview, skills, work experience, or this professional title, or the name, you're going to see that they're spaced out a little more. So if you want to change that, you can go to font, down to the little arrow, go to advanced, and go to spacing. So as you see, the name is expanded by 6 points. I do this so that it looks good. And this is going to change a little bit based on what you want. You could, if your name's longer, you might want to space them closer. If your name's shorter, you might want to space them a little bit more apart. It really just depends on you and what you think looks good. But let me show you what happens when I take this and make it normal again. It pushes it all together, and I personally don't like the way it looks. I prefer it to be spaced out. I think it looks sleeker, more modern, more professional. But once again, this is your resume, and you can do with it whatever you want to. And that's everything we need to talk about as far as the wording or the text. Let's talk about resume icons. So if I select, I'm going to select the bottom so that nothing's in the way. This resume icon, let's go to graphics format. The first thing you notice is it's 0.28 inches by 0.28 inches. So size, it doesn't have to be to 0.28 inches. You could be at 0.3, 0.35, 0.2, somewhere in this ballpark, whatever you think that looks good. The 2 points to think about here are if it's too small, it's going to be hard to see. And if it's too big, then it's not going to fit on the page and you're going to have a hard time making it look good. And what makes this important is I've included a resume icon pack in the package. And so if you like those resume icons better, what you do is you open the pack, you right click the icons you like, you copy them, paste them into this document, immediately change their size to what size you want them to be, and then start replacing them. Once you do that, you can change the color. So we have this selected. Graphics fill is useless. As you can see, if you choose a color, it makes the entire dot that color, so we don't want to use it. Graphics outline, however, is going to be how we're going to change the actual color. So that's the way we'll do that. That's all there is to the resume icons. They're probably the simplest piece here. Once they've been made, which I took care of for you, you're not going to have to worry about it. Now, the last piece is the outline rectangles. All these lines are made of rectangles, and you can move them. You can make them different sizes depending on how everything's arranged. They're completely customizable. And the best way to select them, the ones on the right are easily accessed by the top, and the ones on the left you can click on by the left side. And I just want to show you where all these are. Professional overviews here. Contacts in its own. Skills is in a big one that goes from top and bottom to the page. Education's in its own. This work experience isn't in one at all. It's just surrounded by them. References is in its own. Extras isn't in a text box. And work experience is in its own text box that goes from top to bottom. So let me show you an example of changing them around. Let's pretend you only want to use 2 references. So let's get rid of those. We're going to move the text box up to match its new size. We're going to take the rectangle, make it match up to the new size, and you want to add more extras. So let's bring the extras up and make those match. You can be as simple as adding in more extras and just make them simple and plain, just state what they are. Or what you can do is you can copy and paste the extra section from the 3-page resume. It's been expanded to give you more detail on each one of these. Like for example with courses, it allows you to tell you what the course was, who were the people that the course was taught by, what year you took it, what your certifications are, what it's called, the year you got it. So it'll allow you to expand. One thing to notice is that when we move the rectangle, we messed up where the diamond is. So let me show you how to fix that. First, click it and drag it up to roughly the right area. It doesn't matter yet. And come down here to the bottom right and fully zoom in. Zoom in as far as you can go. and then come in and more accurately put it in. And look at this. It's not perfect. It's not perfectly on the lines, and it doesn't have to be. So if we click down here, go back to 100% and zoom out, now you can't tell. When somebody looks at it in Word format or in PDF format, it's going to look fine. It's going to print out just fine. Everything's going to look perfect. And even if it's a little bit off, people are going to be more focused on reading your resume than they are to notice the small imperfection in the shape that's there. They're going to notice that it's there, probably think it may be a nice design element, see how much work you put into the resume, but they're not really going to nitpick it. They're going to be more focused on what's in the resume and who you are. And to be honest, that's pretty much it. I've tried to make these as simple as possible. If you don't care, please take a moment to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates on new products. So I'll be doing financial planners, business planners, new business creation paperwork, all sorts of things for your career and business moving forward. So if you're interested in those, please like and subscribe. And it'll also help me with the algorithm and hopefully allow my products to be seen by more people, and hopefully we can help more people and get them started on the career journey and help them find the job that they love. And I just want to thank you for your support. If you have any issues, please feel to send me a message and I'll help you out. We'll get everything fixed. I wish you the best on your job search and in the rest of your career. Have a great day, and thank you guys.